Excellennial here with another story-based Excel tutorial. Now today I'm going to be talking about Katie the knitter. Some of Katie's receipts look off to her because her vendors all format the money differently. This complicates her estimates for her expenses. She needs to know how much she's paying out to her vendors to give her a better idea of where she needs to allocate her money and what she needs to save for business decisions going forward. Some of these receipts show the dollar format, but some of them show a text format. For example, $2.09 in this format versus the typed out words $2.09. So how does she more easily find the text format cells or the rows that have cells that are text format for the money and see how she could fix them faster? Let's see if we can help. Alright, so here is the list of Katie's receipts. All of the purchases that she's made recently and a list of the vendor name, item number, if she has or has not paid it yet, if there was a price that was actually in the money format, or if there was a price that was typed out in the text format. Now you can see going through here, there's 1 so far, 2, 3, 4, so there's a couple of them on here and she wants to know the fastest and easiest way to find these ones. Now there's a function that we're going to be using today called the ISTEXT function. This can also be used for finding if you've actually saved a formula to be words or if it's still a formula inside of a cell. So that's going to be for a different video another time. In this case, we're going to be looking for the cells in column D that are text format. This first and second, cell D2 and D3, will come up as text format false because they are actually in the numbers format. So let's go ahead and go to cell E2, and this is where we're going to type in our ISTEXT function. And what we're going to do here is, just like a lot of our other processes, we're going to focus on one row at a time. So the only focus we have here is row 2, specifically in column E. So we'll type the equal symbol, which is the beginning of every function or formula, and we will type in is, and you can see ISTEXT popped up here. We'll select that one. Now we have one piece of data that is required here, the value. So what are we trying to determine if it is or is not text? So we will select cell D2. Again, we're only focusing on row 2 right now. And when we select cell D2, that replaces the value in our formula. And what this is saying now, what this translates to is equal is text is saying is D2 text format. And that is going to result in a true or a false answer. So when we press enter or return on the Mac, it will be a false because this is actually numbers. Proper digits to show how much money was spent. This is done completely for the row 2. We know that no action is needed. Katie doesn't need to do any updates. She knows that's the correct format. Now to save time, so we don't do that in every single one of the cells in column E, we're going to select in the cell E2, the little square here in the corner, and when we click that, we can either click and hold and then drag it, or we can click and double click it so it'll go all the way down. Now what that does is it actually fills in an updated formula. So it updates for every single row. Again, in cell E2, you can see up here in the text bar, in the formula bar, sorry, it says equal is text and D2. Now if we select E3, we should be focusing on row 3, and that's it. You can see here, oops, if you properly select it, you can see here in cell E3, the formula bar shows that it has been updated to equal is text D3 since the row 3 is the only focus for that formula. So now since we've double checked some of these, we can see, okay, that one updates to D4, D5, D6, and so on. Now to save a little bit more time for Katie, you can see that we already have the filters on here. If they aren't on, you can go to data and then turn on the filters here. And now what we're going to do, since she doesn't actually want to keep this data here, we don't need to copy and paste it and save all of the data to make sure that the actual function or formula goes away and the text that is displayed stays. We don't have to do that here. I've shown that quite a bit in previous videos, but this is a great example of we want the data, we want to know what items actually truly are text and need to be converted back to a numeric dollar, but we don't need to keep that column. Katie's going to delete it as soon as she has all of her data updated. So this is a really, really good example of when you use a function and you type in the data and you use the data that's displayed to get the information you need, and then you're done with that data and that's it. In those cases, you don't need to save it and copy paste to make sure it's the correct format. We're going to delete it at the end anyway. So when you go in and filter, you can actually get rid of all of the false. So these should be all of the true items. As you can see here, they are in fact all typed out into a text format of what was actually the price. Now, this actually leaves Katie in a really good spot. She knows that she only has a couple she needs to update. She can go through, type in the actual amount with digits and as opposed to text instead, and then she can completely delete the column E because she's already found all of the data that she needs. If you have any questions about this process, please leave a comment in the section below, and until next time, have fun excelling!